So in my last video, I showed you how to make a creeper. Basically the inside, the base form. Now what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to show you how to do something like basically give it a skin. I use a method called plastic corpsing. Now I first saw the plastic corpsing method years ago. I was watching a Stilt Beast Studios video by a person named Alan Hops, who was showing how to plastic corpse, like a corpse, basically put plastic wrap around a corpse. And I thought it was a really, really cool thing. And that kind of got me thinking, well, what else can I do with the plastic corpsing? I use it as a skin for like creepers, zombies, demonic trees I make, demonic tree limbs like that thing up there. They're all using plastic corpse to give it like a skin and fill them out a little bit. Now when we do this, you're going to need a couple different things. First of all, you're going to need plastic to wrap it in. Normally I have rolls of plastic that I get from Home Depot, Walmart, or Harbor Freight, 0.7 millimeters thick. I didn't have any, I ran out apparently. So what I'm going to be doing is I have these plastic bags that I've been using the last few days. That's a thicker plastic, but I'm going to cut this apart. I'm going to use the plastic bags for it. For this I just cut off the end where the bottom is set up. That's going to give me a really big sheet of plastic. I'm going to cut pieces of plastic that I'm going to use to wrap this thing with. When I do this, I'm going to have the plastic wrap. You're going to need a heat gun. You're going to need some adhesive. And it helps to have a glove also. As you're doing this, you're going to be heating up areas. You might want to push stuff up against like the skeleton, shape stuff with warm stuff. Because you're using the heat gun, it gets really, really hot. When you have the glove on, you can shape it without having to worry about burning your hands. Since you're going to be using adhesive spray, I highly, highly, highly recommend using some sort of protection for your lungs. Basically, there's going to be a lot of spray in here. You want to do it in a well-ventilated area. I've got the door open over there. I got a window there. I've got the fan blowing over there. You don't want to be getting adhesive into your lungs. I mean, you're going to see how sticky it is. And the thought of that getting in the lungs is pretty gross. When we do this, you might find your own ways to do things. But when I do this, I'm going to start off by wrapping the body first. When I'm wrapping the body, I have anchors in this creeper. If this was a ground creeper, I wouldn't have to worry about it, but because it's something I'm going to be hanging in the trees, I have anchors I'm going to have to work around a little bit. Then I do the limbs, and then I'll be doing up to the head. As far as the hands and fingers go, depending upon how you want to do it, if you want to make it look like it's got like almost like mitts on it, you can just wrap the whole hand, or you can do each finger individually. When you're doing the fingers, a couple different ways you can do it. Sometimes I'll heat these up and I'll spread it out and give the creeper a more claw-like appearance. What I might do for this one is cut off this finger here, cut off this finger, and give it like tri-claws on the front, just to give it a little bit more of an alien appearance. The way I do this is pretty simple. I pick the area, I break out the adhesive spray, I start spraying down the area, give it a couple of seconds to get a little bit tacky, and then I take the plastic, I wrap it in plastic, then I hit it with the heat gun, and when I hit it with the heat, like when I wrap it with plastic, one of the things I try to do is I try to make it as crinkly as possible. If it's really smooth, I mean, that's fine. But I find when you have like wrinkles and crinkles in it, after we're done, we're going to be using a gel stain. We're going to use the gel stain to pretty much coat the entire plastic corpsing. And the gel stain stuff that you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's. You've got different colors. I tend to like using a hickory color. I originally saw Alan Hops used in his video years ago. I really like the look of it, so I use that the most. I mean, you can get like an ebony or a black base, cherry wood base. You can get a gel stain, a gray gel stain, although I had to get this from a different store, and I forget what store I got it from. There's different colors that you can use as a base. Now, the reason you use the gel stain versus, say, spray painting the plastic or something like that, when you spray paint the plastic, it tends, like the plastic has some give and take, you know, as you move it around. And the spray paint has a habit of like deteriorating really fast, which the gel stain lasts a lot longer. What I will sometimes do is after I'm done using the gel stain, I get it all stained out and everything, put it out, let it dry for a day or so. I'll sometimes get a little bit of spray paint and do like a little misting on top of the gel, and that seems to work pretty well. And then I use like acrylic paints to highlight any wrinkles, crinkles in it, and it gives the final product a really neat, cool look. Luke, I am your father. Okay, what we're doing right now is we're going to be spraying this down a little bit. It might be a little hard to understand me when I have the respirator on. I'll try doing without this as much as I can. You want to get this in a comfortable position where you can easily access whatever you want to do. In this case, I'm able to wrap it up, stand it up. I'm going to do the body first. One of the things you really want to keep in mind is you're going to be using adhesive to this to get the plastic to adhere to the body before we shrink wrap it on. You're going to have adhesives flying all over the place. So not only do you not want it to get in your lungs, it's probably going to be landing on the table and stuff like that, and it can ruin the table. So it's a good idea to put cardboard down, put plastic down or something like that so that it doesn't ruin it. It's actually an old table under here that I was using a couple of years ago. I got a bunch of adhesive spray on it. And I was doing something with hay. Hay got on top of the adhesive stuff a couple days later, stuck to it. I couldn't get it off. So this table got room for anything other than being a work table. Just something to keep in mind. So, pretty simple. I'll put on the respirator, get to work here.
As I said, when I do this, you have different ways designs you can do. If you just want to wrap the spine and not have a stomach area, that can look pretty cool. If you want to have a stomach area, like fill it out a little bit, you can also use this for that. When you do it, wrap it, try to get it, use the adhesive, get it sticky as much as you can so it's not flopping all over the place. Don't be afraid to crunch it up, crinkle it up, get a lot of wrinkles. Like I said, those wrinkles add a lot of character to the final product. So I got the first layer on here. I'm trying to line up using 2 layers around the body. I got that on there. Get the heat gun.
I think I can take this off now. Whoops, almost forgot. I've got the anchor in here. Still get a pair of scissors or a razor blade or something. I'm going to cut the anchor out. You don't want to cut in the anchor itself, that would be bad. Just want to kind of cut it around, get it so that the anchor is coming through. I keep saying anchor. This is what's connecting the body to our mounting system for the tree. So I got this through here. There's a little gap there. I'll just get a little bit piece of plastic in a couple minutes. I'll put that in there. I'll seal it up nicely, and it'll work well. It'll look good. So I like to put on a glove. Unfortunately, I don't have a right-handed glove that I can find right now. When I say a glove, you want to have a thicker glove, like a latex glove isn't really what I'm talking about. As I said, once you heat up the plastic, you're going to be pushing stuff in. You might shape it. I'm doing the ribs here. I might push it a little bit so like when we dry brush it later on, the ribs are well defined. And if you're using latex gloves, you still get the heat transferring through the latex gloves, and it does hurt a bit. Using gloves like this works a lot better. You can use those really thick cowhide gloves that you can buy, they're like workman's gloves, but they are actually probably a little bit too thick and it's hard to get the feel that you want. So you got to kind of find the balance between a pair of gloves that's not so thin that you burn yourself whenever you're doing stuff, but also not so thick that you can't really feel and you're like really clumsy or something. So I'm getting that in there. And this stuff is pretty cool. Once again, you want to be doing this in a well-ventilated area. I've got the fan going. I've got the window open. Got a little bit of a breeze actually coming through here. The plastic kind of shrills up like shrink wrap. or if you were a kid back in the 70s, you might remember the Shrinky Dinks. Kind of gets that type of an action going. And this type of thing that I would normally actually do out in the driveway. However, you might notice my face has a rash on it, like it looks like it has a rash. I've got something called actinic keratosis, which is basically precancerous cells on my face. The treatment for that is a cream that you put on and it kills the cells. But because of that, I'm supposed to avoid direct sunlight, so I'm not going out in the sun while I'm healing from that. It's actually one of those cases where I was thinking, did I want to start doing the videos now or wait till it was all healed up? But it's going to take about 3 weeks before it gets healed up, so I figured I'd just do it. The videos now. And this plastic I'm using is actually a little bit thicker of a plastic. Normally I use the plastic from a Home Depot or Walmart, the 0.7mm plastic. This is a little bit thicker. Because it's thicker, I might be able to get away with just doing one layer on it, see how I feel once it's done. What you're going to find happens is you're hitting it with the heat gun. It's going to shrivel up, you're going to start getting wrinkles and stuff like that. Now if you get some holes in the rib cage, depending upon what type of look you're going for, it can actually look kind of cool. You know, you do a couple layers of plastic, you can get some depth in there, do some different colors in there, and it gives a proper cool look. However, because this is going on a tree, I'm talking about how I'm going to like really define the ribs and stuff. Because it's going on a tree and the rib cage is going to be up against a tree, it's actually more of a waste of time. So on this one, I'm probably going to spend more time working on the back and defining the back. Because the back's when people are looking at this, the back's what people are actually going to see for this one. So anything I don't like on the front, I'm really not worrying about. Even on the back, you know, if like something doesn't look perfect, that's fine, because like, you know, this is supposed to be an alien type creature. Not everything has to be perfect. There are certain things that you might do that actually might make it look a little creepier or more alien. So I like to press down just a little bit in between the ribs. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be hitting this with the stain later on, and then after I put the stain on, I'm going to be hitting it with like dry brushing it, and the dry brush is going to make the ribs stand out a little bit, and it's going to make them look pretty cool. I think I probably am going to do another layer on top of this one. Okay, so I'm done the body. Come on over here. You'll be able to see like actually how to cut the anchor out. And all I did was I cut a little piece of plastic, put the plastic in where the hole was, sprayed it, put it on there, heat gunned it, and it's in there pretty solid. Now, since this is going up against the tree, it's up to you how much work you really want to put into this and how defined that you want it to look. Quite honest, the way I have it, nobody's going to see it, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. When you heat up the plastic, one of the cool things is that as it shrinks, you know, it goes from being flimsy to becoming a harder and harder substance. So it's got a little bit of firmness to it. And I've got stuff I did this 2 years ago, still in decent shape today. So I've got this done. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to do the arms and the hands. And if you take a look at the arms here and all, what I did is I just cut out a couple fingers. If I wanted to, I could heat these up, spread them out a little bit more. I keep saying this, but your imagination is the only thing that's limiting to you. You can make this as funky as you want, as crazy as you want, as demonic as you want, as creative as you want, or if you just want something basic, you can make it as basic as you want also. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to I'm going to wrap the arms, I'm going to heat up the arms, I'm going to do the hands, I'm going to do the fingers. And pretty much the same way I did the body, I'm going to spray it, wrap it a couple times, try to crinkle up, get a lot of wrinkles and stuff in there, heat it, do the hands, And when I do the fingers, what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to do down to about here, and I'll probably do each finger individually and just heat it onto there, and then do a final wrap around to kind of meld them together. And that's another one of the cool things with plastic is, you know, as you're wrapping it, it's easy to meld one thing into another. So I wrapped this up, I sprayed it, I wrapped it up off camera. If you want to make the arms thicker, you can put stuff under here, plastic, tinfoil, things like that, to build it out a little bit if you want to. I like the thin stick type look. I think it looks more demonic, more like unnatural. If you hold the heat gun in one spot for a little bit, you can melt holes into it. And then when you dry brush, you do stuff later on, you can make it pop. It looks pretty cool. Something that I would definitely do if I was doing a corpse for this. No, definitely very optional. Don't need to do it. If you want, you can have like, you can get like strips of plastic, run the strips of plastic from here to here, and melt them in there. It'll look like skin almost dripping off the shoulders or dripping down. That's a pretty cool effect. When you do this, you want to get the hand in like the final position you want. Once you get it like all corpseified and have the plastic around it, it's a lot harder to move. And the more you heat it up, and generally, sometimes I hold it a little closer than I really want to. Like generally, I find about 6 inches or so away. It's good for if you want to just heat it up without melting holes into it. And it heats it up, shrinks it up, and gives you a good, nice, tight skin around the skeleton. Alright, so when you're doing the hands and you're doing the fingers, there's a couple different ways to do it. You can actually wrap around all the fingers, get a pair of scissors, cut down, cut slits, then heat it up, and it'll conform to the fingers so you can do each one individually. If you want to, you can create like a webbed look, a webbed effect, whatever you want to do, whatever works for you, whatever you think looks really, really cool. And now I'm just wrapping up, I'm trying to connect the arms to the hands, get everything the way I want it to look. Do a quick spritz there. Here I did the fingers individually, but like I said, just wrapping up the whole thing, getting a pair of scissors, cutting it down, that actually works pretty well too. May even work better. As you're heating it, the plastic moves, you can touch it off, press it into the form that you want it in. Make it as ratty as you want. You know, you can make it so that it looks like there's skin dripping off. If there are pieces of bone showing, that could be a pretty cool effect too, like there's an open wound. If you want to, you can paint it a reddish color later on, like there's blood dripping out. Make it look like it's painful. But that's about it. Alright, next time I'll be doing the neck area. Now, a couple important things with this. First of all, you've got this part down here going down the rib cage that you want to cover up. The other thing is you want to melt it into the head. Now, when you melt it into the head, I'm just going to spray some adhesive around there. I'm going to hold it on there and make sure it sticks pretty well. Hit it with the heat gun, shrink it on there, and it should stay pretty well. Every now and then when I do it, like little pieces might come loose later on, not much, but just get a little super glue, dab it in there, connect it, and it's fine. When you're doing the neck, it's up to you how you want to do the neck. You can have it just like the shape of the neck itself if you want. I like doing it where I get all these different ribs in here. I kind of like that effect myself. But if you put a couple extra layers of plastic around, you won't see those ribs too much. The other thing is you can actually make it as narrow as the neck, or if you want to, you can have it kind of coming like thick, like from thick down here, shoulder blade thickness, up to narrow where the neck is. And that's one of the things quite honest when I'm doing it, it just kind of takes shape as I do it. Sometimes I'm doing it and it just feels right to make it thicker to narrow. Sometimes I just do it the thickness of the neck. See how it turns out when I'm done. I've corpsed up and skinned up the neck, wound up going wider at the bottom, kind of going thin end. One of the things that was kind of cool when I did this is that this side of the plastic was a little higher than that side, almost like the neck was twisting around a little bit. So I wound up taking the head and twisting the head. It almost gives it like a natural motion where it looks like it's looking off to the left and the muscles are moving with that. I was able to adhere to the back of the skull pretty well, so we're in pretty good shape there. Now, one of the things is when you're doing this, you might, as you're done, notice that you're missing like a little area right here, or there might be a hole somewhere you don't want to do it. All you have to do is get a piece of plastic, hit it with a quick burst of adhesive, put the plastic over it, and it's like basically a plastic patch. And like I keep saying, right now, this might look like a little junky or whatever, but once I stain it and you start getting the overall effect and highlighting and everything, all these wrinkles, all these crinkles add to the overall character and I think look of the final product that you have. Right here, you can see like the tip of the finger is sticking out. I'm going to leave it like that. I might paint it red or something, make it look like something really painful is going on there. But whatever you want to do, make it your own. So forth. Next, I'm going to do the legs. When I do the legs, it's pretty basic. I'm just going to wrap the plastic. You can either do it like the top part, the bottom part, meld it together in the center, or you can get one big piece and just kind of form it in there, whatever works best for you. Same with the feet. When you're doing the feet here, you can wrap the feet totally, leave it wrapped up like it's just one big pad on top of the foot, or you can wrap it, take scissors, cut it down, each one of these individuals, heat it up, and it will shrink and conform to the shape of the toes, whatever way you want to do it. If you're feeling really adventurous and you want to make this more claw-like, you can heat these up, spread them out, so that it's like a grasping claw, not just spread them out, you can like shape them, do whatever you want to do with them to make it look the way that you want it to look. So I'm doing the legs right now, and I actually decided to do it in two parts. I'm doing the upper leg and I'm going to do the lower leg. And when I do it, I wrap it around, get it down here, and I kind of stretch it out. I try to get the knees in also. That way when I do the lower leg, this still meld right into that. And I'll probably do the feet individually. When I do the feet individually, like do the feet separate, I'm going to put a big piece around it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up, cut it, and get the ends to meld. And that's how I'm probably going to do my foot for this. Now, one of the things you got to think about when you're doing something like this is how much time you want to put into everything. Some people are perfectionists. They want everything to be perfect. They want everything to be super detailed. I say more power to them. I wish I had that sometimes. If I'm being honest with myself, I'm not a perfectionist. There's certain things that I am a perfectionist on, but it's not everything. Parts that I know people are going to see, I will try to make look as good as I possibly can. But chest and things that are against a tree and that aren't going to be really on display, I'll still do them, but I'm not going to spend the type of time and energy on them that I do the parts that people are going to see. Now, one of the things with the upper feet and everything, I know most people aren't going to be looking at the feet and saying, "Oh, those feet look great there the way you did them." Some people might be. Most people probably aren't. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the feet. But the face, the back ribs, the arms, the things that are like face level that they don't see, I'm going to spend more time on when I'm doing this. And as I said, it's up to everybody. Whatever makes you happy. And like I say, there are times I really wish I was more perfectionist where I did everything perfectly. It's just not my energy and the way I do things. All right, so I keep talking about doing the toes and all, or the fingers. What I did here is I wrapped the foot. Just take a pair of scissors, figure out where the division between the two toes are, cut it down. Now there's a piece of plastic in there connecting the toes together. I probably should have cut that out ahead of time or first, so I'm just cutting the toes down to that part. But you'll still be able to see what I'm doing and what I'm talking about. Got those cut, break out the heat gun. And it's starting to melt, separate a little bit, giving it like a nasty, decayed look to it. And honestly, that nasty, decayed look is what I'm looking for when I do this. I'm not looking for something that looks super neat, super clean. I'm looking for something that looks like ragged, rough. Looks like it's been decaying or something. Same thing for this one. Now you can hit underneath to it a little bit, get it wrapped around, and you can start to see a little bit of the divisions between the toes occurring. Alright, so now it's completely coursed. You'll notice that I've got the anchor points here, they're sticking out. What I'll be doing is I'll be taking large zip ties. When I do the large zip ties, put this through here. When I put it through, this will give me something to put up against a tree. I'll take a drill, I'll put a couple of drill holes in here, and then when I want to put it on a tree, I get a hammer and a nail, I go through the drill holes. The reason I put the drill holes through first, it gives you a guide and it's a lot easier. Just try to hammer straight through here, you don't have the nail sliding off that way, you don't have it sliding off that way, and when you have it up in the tree, it's highly annoying. Believe me, I know, it sucks. So drill holes, like pre-drill holes in here, you can pre-drill holes at different lengths, so when you put it up on the tree, it's easy for you to figure out where you want things. You'll notice right here, there's actually some of the bones showing and everything. I could put a little bit of plastic around that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get a little bit of red paint or something before I'm done. I'm going to make it look like it's a bleeding ulcer or something like that, where there's blood. It's evil, it's demonic, it doesn't look natural. And I keep saying, when I do this, I don't want it to look natural, I want it to look unnatural. The more unnatural it looks, the better. The back's done. I've got it up flush against the skull there and the face and everything. Alright, now as far as staining goes, staining is very basic. You're going to get a gel stain. You want to use a gel stain as opposed to like a more liquid stain, because liquid stain won't dry very fast or at all. It runs all over the place, it's a mess. As I said earlier, I saw this in a still piece studio video years ago. I've been using this ever since. Gel stain is easy to apply. You put it on there, you're coating the whole thing, and then you're going to let it dry. Normally I like to do this during the daytime when it's sunny out, so I can put it out in the sun, and the sun helps speed up the drying process. Get a paintbrush. I get paintbrushes from Harbor Freight. It's like 36 of them for like 12 bucks or some ridiculously cheap price like that. Using the hickory stain, you still put it on there, and you paint it, you put it on, you let it sit on for a few minutes, like maybe 10 minutes or so. Then you might get a paper towel, wipe off some of the excess. Once you're done painting it, you get the heat gun, hit it with heat gun to help start the drying, and then I'm just going to put it over on the floor over there on a piece of cardboard, let it start drying overnight, and then tomorrow, as long as it's not raining, I'll put it out in the driveway, and the sun will heat it up and dry it really, really, really fast. A couple things, you want to make sure like that the plastic coursing is up snug against the skull. If there are a couple of gaps or anything coming loose, just get a little bit of super glue on the edge of a paintbrush, like a really small paintbrush. Get it in there, push it up against it, hold it up against there for a couple seconds, let go, and that should be enough to do what you want to get done. I've got the body stain now, and basically I just used the gel stain I was talking about earlier. Got the majority of it. If there are any extra spots, what I do is I use a little bit of Satin Espresso spray paint. Now spray paint, you don't want to use too much spray paint, because what happens is if you have like too much spray paint in an area on the plastic, like after a couple weeks it dries up, plastic crinkles a little bit. this will start flaking off. So you don't use too much of this. But if you use a quick like spritz, like right there or something, it's not a big deal. Similar to what I'm going to be doing with the body. Now, with this creeper, I kind of tend to think this creeper is something coming like out of hell or something. When I think of hell, I think of like fire, brimstone, lava, things like that. So I always try to make the body of the creepers somewhat reddish color. And what I do for that is basically get a little bit of red spray paint, not a lot. I don't spray a whole bunch in any one area because, like I said, if you do that, there's a good chance that it's going to like chip off over time. I just try to do a light misting over areas of the body, nothing too tight, nothing where it's don't be bonding. Like the big areas don't bond to each other so that when the plastic moves, it breaks apart. And I've had pretty good luck with this in the past. What I do is I spray a little bit of red on it, and then I hit it with a little bit of black on top of that, and then maybe a little bit of red after that. I don't do a whole lot. I do it from a distance back here. I'm really not doing a lot at all. Because I don't want it to clump up. I don't want it to like have big red things where plastic starts moving. I want to do this in a well ventilated area. I got the fan going, I got windows open. I've got garage door open. I don't really worry about under it too much since the underside is going to be near the tree and people aren't going to be looking at it. Basically, I'm going to try and get that color probably a little different than the face because I want the face to stick out. I did the base of the face with the red and black. One of the things still happens, you're going to see different areas when you need a little extra spritz here and there. But I'm going to get the body, the base of the body similar to the face, but then instead of like using like yellow highlight stuff, I might use green or something so it pops out a little bit more. Now a little bit of black. Once again, not using a whole lot. Don't want it to gather in places. Just want to have like a light misting coat. So I stand way back when I do this. I don't want to be too close. I get it to the color that I want it to be. Now, you may want to do this. You may just want to go straight to using an acrylic paint, or you might have your own way of painting this. It's up to you. I'm just showing you how I do it and showing you a little bit of what works for me. All right, last thing I'm going to do is paint this a little bit. I'm going to use the yellow paint. I was thinking about using green, but green looks too much like Christmas. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting a little bit on the brush, and I'm going to be like hitting all the high spots, trying, like I've got a lot of wrinkles, ribs, and stuff that I want to bring out as I do this. When you do it, there's a lot of videos on like kind of doing dry brushing, and there are a lot of videos for how to dry brush online. And basically you're just taking your brush and you're just kind of trying to hit the high spots as you go along so that all these wrinkles and all these definitions and everything, they kind of pop out. And they're one of the things that when it's up in the tree and it's looking down will stand out. Now, depending upon how creative you are and how much knowledge you have in this, like I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who have a lot of experience with painting and everything. I don't. No, you might know how to do black lights, you might like have a lot of your own techniques. Now you do whatever works for you and whatever you think makes it look really good. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes to go through, try to get all the high spots, try to make this look halfway decent. If it's not perfect, I don't really worry about it. For a little home haunt that I do out front, and I always think imperfections oftentimes make these props look better. Make it look more broken, make it look more creepier, things like that. I want to show you how I anchor these to the tree. We put 2 anchors on the creeper, which are basically zip ties. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these zip ties through those zip ties, and it's going to create hangers that I'm going to nail to the tree. Now when I nail these to the tree, I like to actually drill little holes in this first. The reason I drill the holes in it first, nails go through a lot easier. So do a series of holes. Obviously I don't want to go into the table, so I got a block of wood here. Do it every inch or two. And basically what I've been doing is I added a little color to the creeper. Now what I'm put on the tree, I want to get a good idea of what people are going to see and how it's going to look hanging in the tree. I'm going to do any last touches for adding color once it's up in the tree. So it's like when it's in the tree, the underside's against the tree. Now there's really no reason to spend a ton of time on that, but there are things outside, on the outside, that people are going to see pretty easily. I want to make sure that those are done up the way I want them to be done up. Now, as I said, got the strap here. I'm going to get a nail. I don't use big nails. I just get here. Use common number 6 nails. Or these little brown common nails, also good. I put them through, just nail right into the tree, and it'll hang in the tree. I did this with a bunch of props last year. They all lasted the month of October, no problem. Okay, so I anchored this up. Just don't take a look, figure out where I need to dry brush a little bit more. Don't get a little more on the face here, a little bit in the front, some on the back. Places where people are going to be able to see it pretty easily. I want it to really, really pop. Now, if you come on over here, you can see how I have it anchored to the tree. I've got the 2 anchor points. I have them nailed into the tree. If you're standing right in front of it, you can't really see it. If you're off to the side, you can see it. You can do a couple different things. You can spray paint them a color so it's more, or maybe acrylic paint or paint them in some way or another so that they kind of match the background a little bit more. You could get some plastic tarp and like kind of plastic corpse it so it almost looks like flesh is coming off of it. There's a couple different ways to mask that if you want to mask it. As far as the hands go, you could like, I've got it so the hands are grasping it, the legs are grasping it. Come on over here. And overall, I'm about 99% of the way done with this. There's a couple areas I'm going to touch up, dry brush a little bit more, and I'm going to be done. Like I said, it's just supposed to be a general guide on how to make one of these. I'm hoping that if you make your own, you come up with your own ideas, your own thoughts, ways to improve it, ways that work for you. As I said, I'm honestly not an artist, so I'm just doing the best I can when I dry brush and get the colorations and everything in there. If you're an artist, go to town, do whatever makes it really pop and look really, really good.